Hey, friends, welcome to the Dr. Sev Talks Money Podcast. Today, we are talking about positioning you and your business for growth and opportunities through branding. I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Mildred Talabi. She has spent the last decade mastering the art of personal branding in both her career and business. She trained as a journalist and worked in the media before transitioning to public relations and then communications. Mildred specializes in working with female leaders and women in business to build powerful and authentic personal brands through being visible on LinkedIn. Now, she knows what she's talking about because she is a recognized LinkedIn influencer with over 50,000 followers. And she is the founder of Visible Women Tribe, a global membership community for women in business and leadership. Mildred, welcome to the Dr. Sev Talks Money Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so pleased to be here and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, so am I. So am I. So let's dive right in. Now, how important is branding for growing a business?
Where do I start with this? How important is branding? How about absolutely 100,000% importance? Okay, yeah, I will have to say that there are two types of business, well, probably more than two types of business models that people have. And, so there are those who want to grow their business and they don't feel like, they don't want to be the face of the business, so to speak. In which case they're not interested in the personal branding aspect. They maybe automate it. They might use things like advertising tools and channels, and that's all they do with it. But then there's another segment, in terms of business wise, where it's a case of some of the most successful businesses are built on the back of personal brands, because your personal brand has the power. In fact, it has 10 times as much reach as your company brand on its own. So we are in this age, in this time where people don't just want to know the companies. They want to know the people behind the companies. They want to know who's involved in the business. They want to know who's the face of the business. They want to know more about the business. So that's where building a personal brand can really give your business the edge, because when your people, and we all have a people, when your people love what you do, when they begin to, this whole process of building a personal brand allows you to do what's called social selling, where people get to know you, like you, and trust you. And when that process starts to happen and they buy into you, it's so much easier for them to buy from you. And it all starts with having a visible personal brand.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. We want to know who's behind all the brand. We want to know who you are. We want to know your values. We want to know your ethics. We want to know everything about you, because a lot more people are focused on the ethical, the things that are not visual, the things that are not really the selling point per se of your product, but they're the behind the scenes. How do you value how do you behave in a certain situation? So yes, I totally agree.
Yes. Yeah, and I love that you said that the things that are behind the scenes of your business, because your brand is made up of not just the external stuff of this is who I am, who I service. It's also the values. These are what I believe. These are the causes I stand by. This is why my distinction is that whole thing of I help women to build powerful brands. Yes, but it must be authentic, connected
Yes.
to who you are as an individual, and it's true to you, because that's how you can sustain it as well, when it's an authentic personal brand.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, because I don't want to buy from somebody whose value doesn't align with me, even if their product is the greatest product.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk about some elements of successful branding. What would you consider a few elements of successful branding?
Okay, so if we're looking at building your personal brand, and then let's just use LinkedIn as a platform, right? Because this is where the platform that I specialize in, but some of this can apply to other platforms as well. But if you want to build a successful personal brand on LinkedIn, it starts with off LinkedIn. Funnily enough, any brand starts with having clarity around what is my brand. In other words, what do I want to be known for? And if you're listening to this right now, I want you to ask yourself that question. What is it that I want to be known for? Because that's the starting place of your brand. And then once you have clarity on what you want to be known for, then it's a case of, okay, who do I want to serve? So you need clarity around that as well. So the what and the who. The why is personal to you in terms of what is driving you. The why is important. Simon Sinek says, start with why. But the why allows you to keep on going on the days when you don't feel like showing up, and you will have those days. You have more
Oh,
than one of
yes.
those days, where you don't feel like showing up, you don't feel like being visible. The why can drive you. So it's important that you have your why in mind, but be very clear on the what is my brand and who am I serving with my brand. And that's the starting point of building a really powerful personal brand on LinkedIn and beyond.
Yeah, I love that. What what are you known for? What are you doing? What is it that you are trying to sell per se? And then who are you selling to? Because you can't sell to the whole world.
Yeah.
Your marketplace is huge, but the people you're focusing on can't be everybody. Because if you sell to everybody, then you sell to nobody. So I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. One of my old business coaches, she said it like this. She said, you have to learn to alienate in order to resonate. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yes.
I was like, wow, that's powerful. I'm definitely keeping that. She's like, yeah, you have to be comfortable. And a lot of the time, especially when we're new in our business, we're like, oh, I don't want to niche down because I want to serve everyone. I don't want anyone to feel left out, and I can serve everyone. Yes, you can serve everyone technically, but as you said, Dr. Sev, you cannot market to everyone. So it's really important that you define that audience and that you market to a specific audience and resonate with that audience in order for your brand to really drive home with the right people.
Yes. Wow. I love you said that because I was listening to a Facebook Live yesterday or the day before. And one of the things the young lady said is you have to have confidence in what it is you're doing. You have to have confidence to repel the wrong people, confidence to attract the right people, and confidence to make your ask. Because the reason many times we don't have confidence to make the ask is because we don't know who we are. We don't know what we're selling. We don't know who we're selling to. And I hate the word selling, it's really more market.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yes, if we don't know those, then we're not confident to make the ask because we don't know who it is we are wanting to ask the question. Love
Yeah,
that. Love that.
yeah, that's it. Oh, where we make the ask and no one responds because you're trying to ask everybody. Like let's say, for example, a single mom, and a guy who's like an executive in his 60s. They have completely different needs, for example, in certain
Yeah.
criteria. And if you're like, well, I'm going to market to her and to him, you're not going to be able to resonate with either. So you have to get comfortable with, as you said, comfortable and confident with alienating in order to resonate.
Yeah, and you have to get familiar with your people. You have to know your people, because how do you market to your people if you don't know your people? What are their pain points? What it is that would want them to gravitate to you, and what is it that would want them to work with you? You have to know who they are so you can speak to who they are. Loving this discussion. Loving this discussion. So can you give us a specific example of successful branding, maybe a company or person?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many examples, and what I love most about the work that I do with my clients is the transformation that happens for them when
Yeah.
they get to this place of building their personal brand and they're comfortable and confident showing up on LinkedIn and attracting their exact people. One of my favorite client examples is a lady called Dion. Shout out Dion if you're listening to this. But I've seen her evolve over the years, massively. When we first met, she was a cartoon character. In terms of like her profile picture was a cartoon character, and that was because, as she confessed to me later, that she didn't want to be seen, so but in the journey of working together, really helping her to open up and become visible on LinkedIn and build her personal brand, she's gone on to have this amazing presence on LinkedIn, where she's like really making a real difference in the mortgage industry and being like a go-to sought after person in that arena, because she took those steps to start being visible and start building her personal brand. So there's so many other stories of that I of similar clients, but is this whole idea of there's a whole world of opportunity waiting for you when you start being visible, when you start building your personal brand on LinkedIn. It's amazing. But if we take it on a celebrity level, for example, but if you look at Elon Musk, so he has a powerful personal brand, and a lot of his business is driven by his personal brand alone, so, and people like Richard Branson, like their own personal brand is 10 times that of their company. So you as a person, even if you have a small business, a large business, you really stepping in front of the stage and owning your personal brand can do wonders for your business at that point.
Yeah. Oh, how awesome is that, right? But it begins with the what and the who.
The what and
Because
the who.
yes, because if they didn't know who they were, who it is that they're targeting, they could not speak to that audience. So now they've attracted all of those people, and they have created that powerful personal brand because they know who it is they are trying to market to. I love it, love it, love it. So tell me one of the things or a few of the things that we can do to find our target audience.
Absolutely. So, there's so many. As I said, the first step is that once you have the clarity on who your audience is, the next thing is to try and find them. I actually run a challenge every few months called the ABC challenge, which is like the audience breakthrough that allows you to. I walk my people through the techniques of going through LinkedIn to find, connect, and engage with your target audience. But some of the strategies involved in that is really kind of go into where they hang out, is where are your audience. Now, LinkedIn is a massive community of, I think at the last count, is over 860 million users on this platform. Inside there is your audience, for
Yes.
sure. There is nobody I've met who do not have an audience somewhere inside this 860 million users on LinkedIn. So the trick is finding them, and you go and find them and connect with them by going to where they hang out. So this is where, like you said earlier, Dr. Sev, this is where, when you know them and you know their pain points, like their aspirations, you think, okay, so where would they potentially hang out on LinkedIn? Where would they go to solve their pain points? Where would they go to feed their aspirations? And that's where you need to be, because that's where the part is happening with your audience. So that's where you need to be. And then you find them, you connect with them, you engage with them. And as you develop, I'm a big fan of a relationship-based marketing, kind of social selling. So is that as you develop relationships with them through engagement and all of that, it makes that buying process so much easier for them and for you, because you have a more of a pull mechanism rather than push, where you're trying to push your products or your services onto people who might not even want it anyway. Wouldn't it be so much better to pull and attract your ideal clients to you like a magnet? So that's the way that I work and what I teach in this process.
Yeah, wise words indeed. So we talked about finding the target audience, pulling or pulling that target audience to you once you know who they are and can address their pain points and their concerns. How do we think about creating content that attracts that ideal customer?
Yes, content. I always like to say that without content, you can't be visible without content. So people can't see you, they can't hear you, they won't be able to remember you without you actively creating content on LinkedIn. So how do you create content? Well, start with this whole thing of, what does my audience want? What do they need? What are the problems that they face? Now, if you haven't, let's say you haven't done, you're a new coach, etc., and you haven't done loads of coaching, so you don't exactly know what the issues are. Start with what you do know. Start with what you already know about your audience. Okay, these are some of the things that trouble them. These are some of the pain points. For example, in the work that I do around helping women to become visible on LinkedIn, I know that some of the fears that women have and the barriers that they have about being visible is this whole idea of the fear of being judged. Like, what will people think of me? Or they might say things like, oh, I don't feel like I have anything important to say, on LinkedIn. Who wants to hear my voice? So it's really, you need to become an active listener in your target audience. Whether you're doing that through direct conversations with them on phone calls or sales calls, whether you're doing that from, as we said earlier, going to where they hang out and seeing what kind of things are coming up. If you really need to, you can even research online and type up, their target audience and ask what are some of the issues that they're facing. And then your content needs to start speaking to that. So start speaking to them. What you want to do is you want to become somebody who is useful,
Yes.
useful and helpful.
Yes.
That's the thing. And I can't remember who said it originally. I've heard so many people say it, so I don't know who the original quote is, but it's like the best way to show someone that you can help them is by helping them. So when you actually help your audience through your content, you help them to do something, you're useful, you help them, they start to know, like, and trust you. And then that means that when they're ready for whatever it is, the service that you provide, and they need that kind of help, you're going to be the first person that they think of because you've already proven that you can help them. So that's how content really is a massive driver in your marketing, in your selling, if you put out content that is actually useful and helpful to your audience.
Yeah, I totally agree. Those people that come into my mailbox and sell whatever it is they're selling, obviously, sometimes they don't even know me. They don't know what it is that I want. They are just blindly sending emails or sending DMs without knowing who I am or what it is that I want. And I laugh sometimes. So it is, yes, it is very important to know your people. And once you create things that are able to maybe satisfy a desire they have, serve them in a way that is useful and
Mm-hmm.
not just serve them because you're trying to build content or you're trying to just put things out there without knowing who your people are. Once um, you're careful in how you market your content, you are making sure your content is specific to those pain points, to those people, then yes, they will come, because I have seen that. I
Mm-hmm.
obviously I don't have the big following that you have on LinkedIn, uh,
And you don't
but
need
I've
to
seen
have
it.
50,000 people to make that happen. You
Yeah.
honestly don't need to if you're speaking the language of your audience on a regular basis.
Yeah, I agree, because just over the last 2 years, my LinkedIn has grown over 50% because now I'm more consistent, number
Mhm.
one, and then I'm more targeted in what content I put out. So yes, I do believe the method works.
Awesome.
So I would like to share Mildred's connect, the way you can connect with Mildred,
Mhm.
and you can connect with her through LinkedIn. And this is the link: is go to you can just search for her name, Mildred, Mildred Talabi, or you can just click on this link that I will put in the chat, or you can go to her website, mildredtalabi.com, mildredtalabi.com, to learn much more about her. So tell us if there's anything coming up that you would like your listeners right now to support you in whatever it is that you have coming up.
Sure. So I do, as I mentioned briefly in passing, I, because this is live actually, the date works. I am doing my next ABC challenge is called an audience breakthrough challenge, and this is designed for you if you feel that you're constantly speaking to an audience on LinkedIn that's not your audience. You know, whether you're putting out posts and you're getting little to no engagement on your posts, or whether you feel like, okay, I want to use LinkedIn to build my business. I need to find my target audience, but I don't know where they are. I don't know how to start finding them. Or you feel like I need to dip my feet into LinkedIn and start the process of being visible on LinkedIn, but I'm not ready yet for a full coaching program, or, I just want to kind of test it out, see if this platform is for me, see if it works, that kind of thing. So my audience breakthrough challenge is a 30-day challenge, where I will take you through some of the principles that I've used to build my audience over the last coming up to 4 years now, to over 50,000 followers, to build my business. So it is just for 30 days. In that 30 days, you get little micro tasks. It's with a small group of women. I'm capping the numbers at just 10 women, and we kick off on the next one starts on Monday, the 9th of October. So it's the little mini challenge that you do. We do little weekly check-ins via Zoom, little calls, Q&As. You have this small community to grow with. You've got me in that process, and you're going to have, by the end of it, the ability to find, connect, and engage with your target audience on LinkedIn. So it's called the ABC Challenge. You can find out more on my website, startbeingvisible.com/ABC.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Mildred. Are there any last words that you'd like to wrap up that you think the audience should consider?
Well, I've said start being visible so many times because that is my mantra, and the key thing is to start. Honestly, don't put it off for tomorrow. Don't put it off for the day, but the day after. Start being visible. Start today. Start by making a decision that I am going to do this. I'm going to build my personal brand on LinkedIn. I am going to build my business on LinkedIn. And you start with that initial decision. Take that first step. And then from there, the sky is the limit for you.
Okay, awesome. And while we're here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe everywhere the Dr. Sev Talks Money podcast is available. We explore the essentials of personal finance, the psychology behind financial decisions, life and business strategies, family dynamics related to money, and much more. You can discover actionable strategies to boost your confidence and improve your financial well being through the inspiring success and recovery stories that we share here on the podcast. So until next time, we will see you.